Good morning once again. So, yesterday I saw some stumbling blocks and I noticed there was some commonalities for all of you, and I want to see you really work through these. And these are some I've gone through a lot myself, especially with how many diets I was on. And in combination with not feeling great and just being sick, and also just having stumbling blocks as somebody that struggled with my weight and just healthy eating and food addiction in itself, binge eating. So I really want to work through a couple of these. So I wrote a few of them down. We're going to go through these. We're going to hit these up. So what I was hearing yesterday was some stuff around food prep, some mindset shifts around how we look at food and healthy food, right? Especially when it comes to prepping, and some also stuff around stress, travel, any changes in our regular, like everyday routine, like for those of you that have more of a 9 to 5 of anything kind of changing a routine, or when stress happens and things like that, that it kind of all seems to just go to shit, so to speak. And also in not really wanting to necessarily always do Sunday food prep, and also winging it, and and we're also going to touch on too a little bit of doing it all by yourself. So first one, food prep. So I love to talk about meal prep for the week because I am such a rebel meal prepper compared to so many different coaches and other people, because personally I'm not a fan of the unless for some reason, some people I do find once in a while, they really do love their Sunday meal prep. Like, they love it. It really works for them. If that is for you, right on. It's really about finding what works for you. But I do have to say, it does not work for everyone. And I think that we've been pressured to believe that it does, that a Sunday meal prep where you do everything all in one day and you're good to go for the week works. Because if that is not something that is consistently working for you, like if you're not doing that every week, it's time to find something different. And I say that because sometimes we're like, I know that I've done this. I'm like, when I meal prep and then I'm great for the week, and then I eventually fall off. And then because I'm just like, oh, I have to meal prep on Sunday. And then I make myself do it, and I'm grateful during the week. But then I kind of drag my toes because I did a Sunday meal prep. It's like Sunday meal prep again. And ultimately, I just realized it wasn't me that wasn't working. It was the fact that hello Anastasia and beautiful Mindy, it was the actual meal prep on Sunday that wasn't working, because I thought that's what you had to do, which was a bunch of BS. And so if that's not working for you, and you tend to be a little bit more of a winging it type person, that's how I am. But you also need to have something ready, because you know that life can get busy. Inevitably, we all have stuff in life that can come up. And if your diet or eating plan does not take this into account, then guess what? It's probably not going to work really well. So we have to take all of this into account. Just daily life, travel, social events. This all has to be part of your plan. And when it's not, it kind of all comes crumbling down the minute something changes, right? And so for food prep, maybe it's for you. Maybe it's going, you know what, I don't have to meal prep the whole week. Maybe it's just some dinner stuff I kind of have on hand. Maybe I have some packaged foods and some fresh produce ready to go. That's what works really well for me. I like to get some stuff chopped and have a few different things on hand that I know I can whip up in a few minutes for days when I'm like, inevitably there's about 3 days out of my week when I don't really feel like making something that I had planned. Like, I really like to go with also how I feel. This is more of intuitive eating. If you don't also give yourself room for some intuition or what your body needs, and you know, sometimes we get on that very strict schedule, so you might naturally, and this kind of goes along with cravings, what we were talking about earlier, you might actually need to listen to your body with intuitive eating. So this might be a sign that you actually need more flexibility. So that can actually be a good thing. Yes, of course, beautiful Anastasia. And so it's okay to kind of wing it. And so this is kind of what I do. I go, okay, cool. I'm just at least going to keep my washed, at very least, I'm going to have my washed produce ready. Like, I know that for me, like, there's certain things that I have to have done. Like, I like to wash my romaine lettuce. That way it also lasts longer. And I like to have some chopped up veggies ready to go. And I also like to keep things that I can put together for a simple sauce really easily. Coconut milk and curry paste, easy peasy. I also like to have tons of herbs. And there's also some stuff in the cupboard that I keep for my husband, like quinoa cups and different things like that. So I stock up with some packaged foods that I can easily whip up with already chopped vegetables. It takes maybe 10 minutes. And so that is one way that I do it. So I maybe once in a while, like I'll cook a few things for the week. I'll be like, oh, I'm going to make a big pot of broth, or I'll make a big pot of soup, or I'll, make some sauces and some dressings. And then I'll just have those, because guess what? If you just have some amazing, like get 6 simple sauces, 6 simple dressings, you got those down on pat, and then you just have some chopped veggies, guess what? All you have to do is mix them, heat them, or you're gonna have them raw, right? So it's pretty easy when you get it down like that. So when you think of food prep and you're going, I never stick to that Sunday thing that everybody does, like I'll get really good and then I fall off. It might be because your body or you might need something different, and it's time to try it differently. So be willing to try it differently this time. And maybe for you, it's also including sometimes when you're going to go out and to eat dinner. Sometimes we're like, no, I'm just going to eat seven days a week, 3 meals a day. I'm going to cook everything myself. Maybe that is actually not really doable for your lifestyle. And it's that thing of honesty and truth for yourself. So remember that. This is something we cover a lot in the Plant Powered Plate, because it's really about, I have like a few different videos in there about meal prepping. We're doing one next week, 2 in the Plant Powered Plate, where I'm showing how I prep with packaged foods and also with all our fresh foods, and just kind of how I prep for the entire week without actually having too many things actually pre-made, but just enough so I maybe spend 15 minutes for dinner, if that. I like to whip up stuff pretty fast in here. And I like to keep things simple, which is also going to help with digestion. But that's a different topic. Also too, thinking about mindset shifts. So just going over this a little bit. When we look at healthy food, sometimes this can be, this is the food that I really like over here, but then here's like me trying to eat healthy. We separate these things. And so a mindset shift that I offer you is, this is just how I eat. And this is something that really helped me. It's like, no, this is just how I eat. It's not like something out of the normal. It's like, yeah, I eat healthy food and plants, and sometimes I have a cookie, and sometimes I go out and I might have a brownie, or I might even have pasta. But overall, yeah, this is how I eat, because there's a difference between a diet and a lifestyle. And when we put in the diet mentality, we put pressure on ourselves to eat a certain way 100% of the time. When you shift it into a lifestyle of, this is just what I do, it becomes a little lighter, right? It's like not so, you don't have to be so heavy about food, right? Just don't, we got to release that heaviness. Instead, let's like, yeah, this is how I eat. And it's like, oh, okay, like tonight, like I'm gonna order takeout. Can I give myself like a little bit of room to just enjoy that? So just thinking about that too. And so also with the mindset shift is like, oh, like how am I gonna make food fun? So think about that. How are you gonna make food fun when you do have to prep and things like that? And it might be the way you prep, like we talked about earlier. But instead of like, I have to go shopping, I have to do all these things, how are you gonna create this into your life? And this is where health becomes the non-negotiable, like I spoke about yesterday in the post that I did. Health has to be a non-negotiable. If this is something that's always frustrating you, is becoming a thing for you, it's this non-negotiable that we lay at the top of our list. So it's like, yeah, this is no. So I just need to figure out a way to make it work. It could be grocery shopping with friends. It could be more farmers market play dates. I find that to be fun, like on the weekends, and being like, ooh, like, hey, do you want to like, get together with your friends? You could have brunch, you could go do some other stuff, and then be like, let's all hang out, go to the farmer's market. And usually sometimes there's music and all sorts of fun stuff there too. Pick up your produce and like get together, do a meal share, things like that. So think of just how you can shift it into a fun thing. It's not work, right? It can feel like it, but if you change that mentality and also give yourself flexibility and wiggle room, it shifts that. Does that make sense on that? So just let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts about that. Also, traveling too, something we cover on the plant powered plate, because that's a big one. There's a whole module actually on social events and eating out and things like that. Travel, think about, it's just kind of preparing ahead, if I could say that, and also just learning more. The more you get used to this lifestyle, the easier it is. I'm not going to go all into that because that's kind of a long topic too. Also too, I think one of the biggest things that I also see is sometimes we're like, well, I'm just, this hasn't worked, but this kind of worked in the past. Maybe I'll go back to that. And if it didn't work in the past, if we're like, oh, but it kind of did and I fell off, then something needs to change there. And also the belief that we have to do it by ourselves. And this is one of the biggest things that I think I used to do. I'd be like, why can't I figure this all out? I should be able just to Google all my recipes and about digestion, about food prep, and like just do all this stuff. And so I was really convinced that when it came to food that I had to do it all myself. So just like so many of you are experts in your field, there's obviously experts, right? Like me in my field, because we're all here to support one another in the areas that we need the most support. And so reach out, and that's why you're here in this group, to remember to utilize it. If you're having a time that is not working for you, hire support, get support, and be willing to receive it. And, I always think of Olympic athletes. It's people in the highest positions and people that are really good at what they do. They have coaches, they have experts, they have people that are there. Even though they're already super amazing, they're continually upping their game. So always thinking about that. And that's how I feel. And that's one of the reasons that I continually, for the past 10 years, have invested thousands and thousands of dollars of just, in my business and my health and in every area that I wanted to get better. That way that I could reach my goals more easily. So really remembering that too, as you're doing this, it's like, where do I need support? Do I need to get support now? How are things going? Have I been trying to do this all on my own? Utilize this group, reach out if you need to, and really think about how you can make this easier for yourself. And I believe in each one of you and being able to do this. So really stay on the fun path with it too, and really kind of shift into how you can make this fun and playful. And a joy, because food is here to lift you up. And when we take a different look at it and allow it to be a part of our lives and be a part of our lifestyle rather than a diet, it becomes so much easier. So I hope that helps for some of you that I know are struggling with the food prep and all of those things. So much love, and I will talk to you all later.